Guys, it pleased me that Luke used the term capital expense when we were having a discussion. He said, capital expense, that would be accurate, wouldn't it? And I said, yes. I forgot even what he's talking about. But if you buy a car, a bulldozer, or a pickup, and you're the government, you can expense it. If you buy a $50,000 pickup, you can expense it. That's a cost of doing business. Whack. If you buy a $50,000 pickup and you're in private business, you don't get to expense it all in the first year. You have to do what they call depreciate it. So you might say 20,000 of it is an expense the first year, and the 30,000 gets you have to carry over as an asset. Okay, and then you get to deduct another 10,000 the next year, and blah blah blah. You have to follow the rules of depreciation that the IRS allows. You can't use your own rules. And this screws up your books a little bit because the remaining asset value in your books can be too high or it can be too low. So when I had a company, I had two sets of books. I had one set for the IRS and one set for me to see what I really thought the company was worth. Okay? But you have one set of books for your taxes, and you just depreciate that stuff as much as they'll let you. Okay? And another set of books which might have a different depreciation schedule that's more realistic with the market. This is why everything gets so confusing, and my brain tries to reconcile everything, and it just goes on tilt. But I'm telling you all about this stuff. Now, I saw a headline. I want to tell you what it is so you'll at least know the headlines. Acting Texas Comptroller Kelly Hancock updates franchise tax depreciation rules to align with federal provisions. What? All right, let me back up. Texas has a corporate income tax, but they pretend they don't. And it's called the Texas franchise tax. It's a corporate income tax, but they don't call it that. So what she's saying, and that's why I don't have any corporations, everything's just me. Okay, and Marshall had a corporation. I don't know if he still does. If you close the corporation, you're still liable for all kinds of bullshit until you get the door shut, and you don't have the door shut until you file articles of dissolution with the Texas Attorney General, or maybe it's the Texas Secretary of State. I forgot what it is. But you have to file articles of dissolution. To file those articles, you have to first get a certificate from the Texas Comptroller saying you've paid all your taxes and all your bills. Once you get that certificate, then you can file your articles of dissolution, and they'll rubber stamp it. And if anybody comes up and says, we're suing you today, and you say, I closed that company a year ago, here's my articles of dissolution, get lost. So doing business exposes you to stuff, and you have to get the door shut to keep you from being exposed. Okay? And that's why I showed y'all all these binders that I have. Here's a binder on battles. I had a battle with Shannon. I had, I had a battle with Tri-Eagle Electric. I'd keep a folder on battles because you can't keep up with all that stuff. But life gets complicated, and your kids are growing, and you've got all these stresses. It's like a whirlwind. Back to the point. Acting Texas Comptroller Kelly Hancock updates franchise tax depreciation rules to align with federal provisions. I'll put this up on the screen. Bottom line, I've just scanned it. I haven't read the whole thing. Bottom line, she's saying the one big beautiful bill changed depreciation schedules, okay, that are allowed by the federal government, and we're going to make Texas allowable depreciation schedules fit that exactly. So you don't have to use two government depreciation. You with me? She's letting you use the same rules for Texas that you use for the IRS federal. That's Texas. Texas tries to keep stuff decent, okay? And I'll put it up on the screen. She says, and I quote, and this will be music to the ears of the businessmen who are smart enough to know what's going on, and the CPAs. She says, and I quote, effective immediately, Texas will align its franchise tax depreciation rules with the bonus depreciation provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill, unquote. Texas should never be stuck in yesterday's rules when federal law has moved forward. Our statute allows this modernization, and it's the right call for taxpayers, unquote. Okay? Yeah. Did Debbie ever worry about? No, Debbie never knew. You know, and do your wife? I don't know. But I know the people paying the bills and the worrying about the taxes are concerned about this stuff.